Good morning, all of you. So, as we come to know that in last class we have discussed reaction of metals with a salt solution. So, till now we have discussed the four properties of metals, chemical properties of metals with a different kind of things. The first one is reaction of metals with oxygen. Second one, reaction of metals with the water. And the third one, what is that? Reaction of metals with a dilute acid.
gas.
So dilute acids, as well as next one, reaction of metals with a salt solution. So in dilute acids, if you want to understand, you should know the concept called as metal activity series. What is that? Metal activity series, or else we can say metal reactivity series. Is it yes or no, guys? Respond me. That is. So now, in last class we have discussed reaction of metals with a salt solution. So what is the salt solution general equation? Anybody? Reaction of metals with a metals plus salt solution. Anybody? So metal, let me take, so one metal. So metal A will react with another metal what? Another metal must be in a salt solution. Yes or no? Please respond me.
Yes,
So salt solution. Salt solution of metal B. So we'll react. What is it to get that? What we should get? Salt solution of
Salt solution of metal A plus metal B.
salt solution of metal A plus we used to get
hydrogen.
metal B. Hydrogen gas. That is different. I don't know what you are remembering, what you are following up also. So that is so reaction of metal with the salt solution will give you another salt solution plus it will give you metal B. That is what the reaction is. It yes or no? Verify your class works. So example,
Yes, sir.
one of the example we have been written. For example, if you take copper
QSO4 zinc.
copper sulfate, which is in aqueous state, if we'll take, will react with the zinc. For example, so zinc is more reactive than copper or less reactive than copper? More reactive than copper. So that
Copper, sir.
so that reaction will take place or not? No interest
Sir,
at
it
all.
will take place, sir.
So it will form,
sir.
ZnSO4.
Zinc sulfate, sir.
Copper.
Copper metal will come. So what you are remembering? You are saying hydrogen gas. No hydrogen gas will come here. So this is the blue color, and this is what? Silvery
White color.
and zinc sulfate. What is the color?
Colorless.
Colorless.
Plus copper color.
Red brown.
Red brown.
Red
brown
brown.
color.
So this is the fourth property which you have studied. Metal A plus this is metal A. Understand? Example. And salt solution of metal B. What is this? Copper sulfate. So that it will react and it will form salt solution of metal A plus metal B will come separately. That is also when the reaction will take place, only when it is more reactive than. Is it yes or no? That is
Yes,
our
sir.
remember. Now let us come to our today's class. We are going to discuss reaction of metals with what? Chlorine. Understand? So now observe very carefully here. Whenever all of you, everybody should remember. So whenever fifth property. So fifth property what? Reaction of metals with the chlorine gas. Is it yes or no? So metal plus chlorine. So if you observe very carefully, always metals react with the chlorine and they will form ionic chlorides. What it will form, guys? Ionic chloride. That is what you have to remember. So means in the sense of by exchanging of electrons, the products will form. That is why these are called as ionic chlorides. What we should call, guys? Ionic chlorides. So till now if you will observe, the position of atoms are changing. Have you noticed it? In place of copper, zinc is going to replace, so that we are getting ZnSO4 plus copper. Yes or no? Respond me. But now, no displacement, no reaction and all. Only will form the products because of exchanging electrons. What is that? Please Please respond me. That is the reason. That is why it is called as what we should call ionic chlorides. We can say. Do you understand?
Right.
So, ionic. So by losing or gaining electrons, they will form the products. That is what we should call as ionic chlorides. So that is you should remember. So here in this metal, if you observe very carefully, so this metal you can take. This metal will lose electrons. What will happen, guys? This metal will lose electrons, and losing electrons, what it will turn on, Nitinath? Arya, it will turn into what? It will turn into positive ion. You understanding?
Positive ion.
Like
Yes,
the
sir.
chlorine. If you take chlorine, so what will happen, guys? Chlorine atom, loss or gain?
Gain electrons.
Do you
Gain
understand?
electrons.
Gain electrons, and it will turn into what, guys? It will turn
Negative
into
ion.
negatively charged ions. Negatively charged ions. So that is why you can see metals, understanding, form ionic chloride because they can give electrons to chlorine atom to form ions. Do you understand, guys? So why I am saying metals react with chlorine and they will form ionic chlorides means because metals, they will form ionic chlorides because of why, guys? Because why? Ionic chlorides, why, guys? The metals will lose the electrons and they will donate the electrons to the chlorine atoms to form ions. Understand, Ra? Ionic chlorides.
Yes, sir.
Ionic chlorides because, what is the reason, Arvind? Because metals lost electrons.
Lose electrons.
Electrons and lost electrons to give for what? To give chlorine.
Chloride.
To give electrons, to give chlorine atoms to form
Negative ions.
to form ions. Okay, that is the reason. So if you observe here you can take this metal plus chlorine. Chlorine usually, what is the state of chlorine? Anybody? What is the state of chlorine? Anybody? Madhumita?
Yes, sir.
Gaseous state. What is the chlorine state? Gaseous state. So metal, what is the state of metal? Arvind, Nitinath, respond me everybody. What is the state of metal?
Solid state, sir.
Solid.
So solid plus gas will react, they will form solid chloride. What is that? Solid metal chlorides. That is you should remember. Okay, guys? Ionic chloride, solid, they will form. Is it okay, yes or no? So that is why you can say,
Okay, sir.
so these metal chlorides are usually solid. That is, all of you should remember. So metal chlorides, what is the state of them, Ra? Solid in state.
Solid, sir.
Solid in state, very, very important. But remember, and they will conduct electricity only when they are in solution or molten state. They are in solid state, so that not conduct electricity. What is conduct? What? Not conduct electricity. Do you understand, guys?
Yes, sir.
Usually they are good conductors of electricity, but only in which state? Which state? Only when they are in liquid state.
Aqueous state.
Yes. Good conductors of electricity. Good conductors of electricity. This is what so many don't know. So they are good conductors of electricity, but which state, Ra? Not in solid state. Understand, Ra? Not in solid state. Only in which state? Only in solution state. Means it is dissolved in water. Understanding? Or also we can say, what is the state called as? Molten state. What we should call? Molten state. Understand, guys? So understand, Ra? That is the reason they will be dissolved in water. Once they will be in solution or molten state, so they will pass the electricity and they will split again into individual ions. That is the reason we can use this as this chlorides as metal chlorides as electrolysis process. So electrolysis process, some liquid will take. What is that called as? Anybody? What is that name called as?
Sir,
Electrolysis.
brine.
What is it called? Electrolytes. All of you
Electrolytes.
remember. So, in electrolysis process, every time I am drawing electrolysis process for your better understanding only. So, we will take liquid. Is it yes or no, guys? We'll take liquid.
Yes, sir.
Correct? So, that is what it is.
Concentrated NaOH, sir.
Anything we can take. Understanding? Anything
Okay, sir.
which is ready to form into indivisible ion. So, this is only called as electrolyte. So, this electrolyte is only we are using as what? The molten state of metal chlorides. What is that, guys? Molten state of metal chlorides. Any doubt in this, Karthikeyan?
Sir,
Yeah, tell me, Karthikeyan.
sir, the solution, sir, coming product will be solid or solution, sir.
It will be salts only, but they dissolved. Usually they will come in a solid state. So if you take as a solid state, suppose salt only. Salt is a good conductor of electricity or not? Yes. But if you take a solid crystals, salt crystals, it is bad conductor. It won't conduct electricity. But if you mix the salt in water, then it will be a good conductor. Do you understand? So if you mix a water, if you dissolve it, dissolving only we used to call it as a solution, or else we can call it as molten state. Understand?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so that molten
Okay,
state
sir.
solution only we are using as electrolyte. In which process? In electrolysis process. Which process? Electrolysis process. Understand, Karthikeyan? Clear? Everybody? That is. Understood, everybody? That is what you have to remember. So now, these metal chlorides, if we'll take, guys, all of you, they are in what is the state, guys? Hey, what is the state of them? Basically, they will come in a
Molten state.
states. That is why this metal chlorides is having high melting points and boiling points. Everybody should note it down. So metal chlorides have high MP and BP. What do you mean by MP? What do you mean by
Melting point.
melting point? And BP means boiling point. So that is
Boiling
what
point.
say. So as we know, you may be remember from the class 8th, 9th and all, the compounds which will easily evaporate, what we should call easily evaporate. Easily evaporate volatile compounds we can say. What we should call? The compounds or else the product, anything, the substances which can easily evaporate. What we should call, guys? Easily change their state. Easily change their state in the sense of what? From solid to liquid, liquid to gas. Understanding? Is called volatile substance. What we should call? Respond me, volatile substances. You can observe here. So we will talk only here about liquid, understanding what this is. So anything liquid to gases or solid to liquid, whatever it is. So that is what. So which easily change by increasing small temperature also, they will change that state. Like that substances are called as volatile substances. But if you observe metal chlorides, they are having very high melting point and boiling point. So that they are volatile substances or not volatile substances. Anybody?
Volatile substance, sir.
Non-volatile
Substances.
Non-volatile.
Understanding? So because they have very high melting point and boiling point, that is why these metal chlorides we used to call as non-volatile or not volatile. What we should call, guys? They are
Non-volatile.
non-volatile substances. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So what do you mean by non-volatile? What do you mean by
So
non-volatile?
they cannot change their state.
Do not
sir.
state
not
easily.
change their
Understanding the substances which do not
Yes, state.
change their state easily. Do you understand, Karthikeyan? Very important. So you want the example also, I will say. For example, see petrol. Do you take petrol? Petrol, you can see it will keep open area also, it will changes into gaseous state. Yes or no? While you are filling in your tank also, you can see
Evaporates, sir.
fumes are going upward because it is a volatile substance. What is that? Volatile substance. Understand that? But if you take salt, NaCl, so you can see if you expose into atmosphere also, it will be in a solid state only. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no?
Sir.
Not change. So that is why salt is called as
Non-volatile.
substance. Petrol is called as what? Petrol is called as
Volatile.
what? Volatile substance. Understand, guys? Please respond
sir.
me. Nobody will respond. So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
we can change their state easily are called as volatile. Not will change is called as non-volatile. That is what. So, we can say these metal chlorides are volatile or non-volatile? Humaira, Elmati? Non-volatile.
Non-volatile.
Anusri, that is you should remember. So if you'll understand this, now let us go with the examples. So till here, everything you have to remember. These many MCQs they will ask you. Each and everything is an MCQ. That is what I hope you all understand everything. So please call your friends and tell them to join fastly. Arun Gardikayan, Nitina, Dilipan, everybody, have you joined? Tarani? Okay, Nitish. Yes, call your friends also. So now if you'll observe here, this is what you have to remember. So now let us go with the first example, that is sodium. So if you take sodium, what is the symbol of sodium? You should speak, Ra. So what is the symbol of sodium, guys?
Na.
So now let me react with the sodium. So what is the state of, guys? Sodium is in solid state. React with
state.
what? Chlorine gas. Understanding? Chlorine is a diatomic molecule. Always Cl2 you should write. So what will to come, guys? Anybody can guess? Sodium is plus one.
NaCl, sir.
Sodium is plus one. Chlorine is minus one. What will come, Ra? Arun Karthikeyan?
NaCl.
NaCl will come. So that's so NaCl. So but balanced, Ra? Not balanced.
2 Na plus Cl2 will give 2
2 Na
NaCl.
plus Cl2 gives 2 NaCl.
2 NaCl to give you 2 NaCl, which is in what is the state, guys? What is the state I said?
Solid state, sir.
Solid state.
This is so. This is what we should call it as. What we should call? Sodium chloride.
Sodium.
Sodium chloride. So that is why it is called as exchanging by ions. It is forming. That is why we can say ionic chloride. What we should call?
Right.
Ionic.
Chloride.
All of you write it. All of you write it and call your friends. Arun Karthikeyan. Yes or no? Respond me. Understand? Everybody. If not, how I don't know. You have to speak. Karthikeyan understood this question. Okay, that is first example. So here you have to remember explanation also should be there. So you can see here. So sodium chloride is a ionic compound. Sodium chloride is a ionic compound. Why, guys? Can you able to say? Because
So Na loses
sodium is donating how many electrons? So many
1
sodium.
electron, sir.
1 electron.
One-
Na plus.
Electrons to
1 electron minus. And chlorine is what? Chlorine is gaining 1 electron.
Accepting that, sir. Minus electrons.
Sorry, here it should come. So gaining 1 electron so that it will turns into minus. All of you should write.
minus. Negative.
Gaining electrons. So that is why this is gaining means all of you should remember right side should come. So chlorine gain 1 electron so that it will turns into what, guys? Chlorine minus. Understand, Ra? Please respond me. That is so.
Okay, sir.
So this sodium chloride, if it will dissolve in water, what will happen? It will conduct electricity or not? It is a good conductor or bad
Yes,
conductor?
sir. It will connect, sir.
A good conductor. That is what that is why it cannot be studied. Understand? Because it is a good conductor. So we can say it is what? NaCl is a what? It is an electrolyte. What is that? Humaira? It is an electrolyte. It will conduct electricity. When it is in which state? When it is in solid, when it is
State.
aqueous state, or also we can call it as what? Molten state. What we should call?
Molten state.
Molten state. Molten means also liquid state only, or else we can say solution state. Understand, Nitish? Anusri? Akil Arfan? Yes, guys, please respond me. That is. Now,
Yes, sir.
go for the next question. Madhumita, understand, Madhumita? Next one, right? Reacting with the calcium. Calcium, right, everybody? Calcium symbol is what? Calcium symbol.
Ca, sir.
Yes, sir.
Solid state. Reacting with which gas, Ra? Others also respond means it is good. So calcium react with the chlorine gas.
Cl2 gas it will react and CaCl2.
CaCl2. Why, guys? What is the products here? CaCl2.
Sir,
What?
here calcium is plus 2, sir.
Calcium
Chlorine is 2
minus
minus.
So while exchanging, we used to get what, guys? CaCl2 will come. So I hope it is balanced already. So one only, that's all. Is it yes, guys? That is what you have to remember. Any doubt? Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Clear?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Next. Next to write. Magnesium. Magnesium. You are one by one you should speak. Magnesium. So magnesium is in solid state. So reacting with the chlorine gas. So chlorine gas. What do we used to get?
MgCl2.
Solid state. So what is the product? What is the ionic product? Mg2 plus and Cl.
Mg2 plus will go to
So, which will give you what? You communicate means it is very good because exam you people will never do mistake. Here if you write means that is the reason I am asking you always. So magnesium chloride like that. Aluminium. Let me see who will say aluminium.
AlCl3. Sir, Al plus Cl2 will give
Aluminium
AlCl3.
chlorine gas. It will give you
AlCl3, sir. AlCl3, sir.
solid state.
AlCl3.
Aluminium.
Chlorine gas, sir.
Chlorine is -1. Balancing fastly, Nitish. Balancing. AlCl3. Exchanging. Balancing,
Sir,
guys.
2Al plus 3Cl2
2Al
will give
plus
2AlCl3.
So 2Al plus
AlCl3.
3Cl2 will give you
3Cl2 will give
Chlorine
2AlCl3.
is gas, you wrote solid, sir.
My call to Jesse, Pranita, Dina. Dina is not there. So many is not there. Kevin.
Sir, chlorine is gas, sir.
Chlorine is gas. Sorry.
Chlorine is gas, sir.
Yes. Very good. Chlorine is gas. Next. Same way, fastly. I won't say. You have to write it. Everybody solve it. Iron, zinc and iron. Zinc plus iron. Both you write it.
FeCl2, sir.
Zinc first what? Zinc what will come, guys?
Zinc chloride. ZnCl2.
Chloride.
Gas will give you ZnCl2, which is in solid state. Next, iron.
FeCl2.
FeCl2 gas, which will give you FeCl3, not 2. That is why I said here it is 3, not 2. It is ferric chloride. What you should call, guys? Ferric chloride. 3. They will form ferric chloride. Everybody should remember. Ferric 3 chloride. Everybody will think that till now 2 came. So here also it will 2 come. So here Zn2 plus Cl minus 1. Understanding, Ra? So Zn-Cl2 will come. Next, iron is a what? Variable valency. So that is why Fe3 plus Cl minus. So what will come, Ra? FeCl3. Understanding, Ra? That is you have to remember. Understand, Kevin? That is ferric 3 chloride. Ferric 3 chloride. Now, till here, directly will react. Metal plus chlorine gas, it will react. Without heating, they will form these products. Understand, guys? What is that? Without heating, they will form the products. Understanding, Ra? Now, on heating only, observe very carefully, guys. On heating only, copper will form copper chloride. So now that is why you can say last one. They will ask you in exam which metal will form. Understanding? Ionic chloride on heating. They will ask you. Bottom they will give you like iron, zinc, copper, aluminium. So then which metal, Ra? Arun Karthikeyan?
Copper.
Copper. On heating will form ionic compound. Understanding, Ra? Everybody, will you remember this? Respond me. That is what. So that is everybody should remember. On heating, copper, COPP here, correct? Copper reacts with chlorine. What is that? Reacts with the chlorine. Now, can you able to say copper, solid state on heating, guys? That is you should remember on heating copper. So, chlorine gas. What it will form? Anybody can guess? CuCl2. What will call? CuCl2. Understand, Ra? This is only we should call it as copper 2 chloride. What we should call, Tarani? Copper 2 chloride. Please inform them. Tell them to join. Or we can say cupric oxide. What we should call? Sorry,
Cupric oxide.
chloride, not cupric oxide. Cupric chloride, we can say. That's it. So this is you have to remember. Okay, guys. So all these metals very very important. Till here, any doubt, anybody you can ask me. I hope all of you written down examples. Is it yes, guys? Everything. Arun Kartikeyan, Nitinath, Kevin, Akil Arfan. Yes, that is. Now here one note you should
Yes, sir.
all these metal chlorides are ionic compounds. Yes or no? Yes or no? So
Yes, sir.
all these metal chlorides are what, Anitanath? Are ionic compounds. Yes or no? So please guys remember these ionic compounds only we should call as electrovalent compounds. What we should call? Electrovalent.
Electrovalent compound.
Then they will ask like this only. So electrovalent compounds we can say. Please note it down. That is why I will say you want to know this one. Okay, guys. What we should call? Electrovalent compounds. Any doubt in this? This is what all about. Hey, please inform friends that I think Jessie woke up again. Why she is not joined in meeting? Madhumita, understand? Madhumita, Yalni, Dilipan. Yes or no? That is. So this is what reaction of metals with what? What? Chlorine gas. Now, last one, last chemical property of metals. That is what everybody remember. Reaction of metals with hydrogen. What is that? Reaction of metals
Metal.
with hydrogen. Everybody right? Very, very important this one. And last property, which property it is? Chemical property of metal. What is that?
Chemical properties of metal.
Everybody right? So now, by this time you must say, from the metal activity series, which metals will react with hydrogen, guys? Above hydrogen or below hydrogen? Above hydrogen, below hydrogen.
Above hydrogen.
Hydrogen. Do you understand? Above hydrogen, only they will react and they will form. That is what. So here some little special cases. This is little bit difficult also. Guys, everybody should remember this is the most important one. Most important chemical property of metal regarding chemical property of metals. Now let us see. Metals generally do not react with hydrogen, guys. All of you should remember. Basically, generally do not react with water. Do not react with the hydrogen. Do you understand, guys? They are almost unreactive. So if you will observe carefully, sir, you may be asked me, what is the reason? In exam, for reason and assertion, they will ask you like this only. All of you should remember. So why they will never? They will give some statement, but you should know it is right or wrong. Understand, Elamati, Kartikeyan? So basically what I am saying, generally do not react with which one? Metals. Understand, Ra? Metals generally do not react with hydrogen because metals form compounds by losing electrons. What is that? Metals will form compounds by what, guys? Gaining electrons or losing electrons?
Losing.
By
Losing.
understanding, by losing or losing electrons. But as we know, hydrogen also behaves like a what? Hydrogen also most of the cases it will behave like a responder. You already know, correct? It is behaves like a what? Metal. Understanding, Ra?
Metal.
That is the reason we people are mentioning in metal activity series also. Yes or no? Hydrogen, even though it is a non-metal, it is behave like a what? It will behave like
Metal.
a metal only. So that is the reason. Understanding, Ra? We people are mentioned the hydrogen in metal activity series. So that is why metals usually will never react with what, guys? Will never react with the hydrogen, because metals donate the electron. So somebody must be receive the electron. So that is why hydrogen we can study. It is having both the valencies, hydrogen plus and hydrogen what, guys? Hydrogen minus. So very rarely only it will form H plus ions, H minus ions, because it needs to gain one electron. But most of the cases, even though it is having only one electron, how many electrons in hydrogen, guys? Only one electron. So that electron also it will lose and it will turn into positive charge. Do you understand, guys? Yes or no? Nobody will respond. So even though it is having one electron, instead of gaining one more electron, it will lose and it will turn into positive charge. That is why metals basically they do not react with the hydrogen gas.
Sir, I cannot understand, sir.
Hydrogen is having hydrogen atomic number is 1 because it is having only one electron. You do understand? Hydrogen is having only one electron. Do you understanding, Amma? So now if you take
Yes, sir.
hydrogen, so it is having only one shell. This is the nucleus. So nucleus, it is,
Shell, sir.
yeah, it is having only one electron. Now, if it will gain one more electron, it will is called as duplet rule. You may be studied in class 9th chemistry. Duplet rule
Yes, sir.
will become stable in nature. Yes or no? It will become stable in nature. But most of the cases, most of the reactions, it won't gain the electrons. Very rarely only. So if it will gain the electrons, what will happen? One electron it will gain. That is why it will turn into what? H minus. Understand, Padmarsini?
Yes, sir.
Most of the cases, even though instead of gaining electron, it will lose this electron and it will turn to completely positive, because if it will lose this electron also, only it is having nucleus alone. Do you understand? Only one proton alone it will be there. So one proton means it is positive only, correct? Do you understand? That is. So most of the cases that it will, hydrogen will